Still rough around the edges, but we're getting closer. Hi guys, welcome to iNVision Prototypes. I'm Nick. Today we're going to be pounding out this front fender for the M40C build. Paper is a lot like metal, except that it tears. Metal will tear too if you push it hard enough, but you can see on paper exactly what you need to do. Like these concave areas through here, that means we don't have enough material and it's being pulled flat. These puckered areas, that means that we have too much material and need to be shrunk down, or a compromise between stretching and shrinking. You can always play with the paper template and it'll tell you a lot. Initially I was thinking to make it out of 6, possibly 7 pieces, breaking it here, here just above the headlight, right where that magnet is, one behind, the convex curve behind, one reverse curve that comes up to the hood, and then this panel here which we already fabricated. So that's 7 pieces. I think we can make it out of a lot less pieces. And just looking at this paper template and the lines that I've drawn on it, you can see the wheeling zones. This is very similar to the rear fender that we did earlier. In regards to this front piece here, where the magnet is, I was going to put a joint there. But if we can take and roll this all the way through and wheel up this panel, just like I've illustrated in this blue marker here, we should be able to fabricate it out of one piece. The biggest challenge is going to be this reverse curve right through here. You see this puckered material here? That means we have too much material in that area. Now, this will go away if we stretch the outside perimeter edges of a reverse curve. So if we stretch here and stretch this, it'll minimize a lot of that. But sometimes you may need to take and shrink that down just by pounding these puckers in the sheet metal into themselves. Going from 4 pieces across the front here, we've gone to 2. And here we go. Just going to break the initial shape over using the rubber wheel, as always. A little bit long, but once we get some shape into it, it'll be more manageable. You can see, as soon as we started bending this over, we got these puckers happening here, and then we have this concave area that's happening here. And that's just indicating that we don't have enough material here, and we have too much material there. I'm going to do the passenger side as well while we have the rubber wheel installed. So that's the beginnings right there. Sorry for turning my back to you. Just want to make sure that we're in the right spot this time. There, much better. Not that we won't be successful in forming that panel now, but just makes it a lot easier to make sure that we're sitting in the right spot. See, this zone, wheeling zone in this area widens out by the headlight, stays relatively narrow through there, and then opens up through here. And that's it. So now we can start stretching this. We're going to start with the driver's side fender. Just checking my clearance over there by the throat. It's a close one. I'm wheeling right off the end because we don't want to create any weird bulges. The fender comes down and flows right into the rocker panel. Turn up the pressure just a little bit. So much like the rear fender, as we wheeled this up and through here, this stretched out, now this started caving in. So we're gonna have to start blending these two surfaces in together before we get too much of a concavity through here. So for every two passes, I make one pass down. Just blending it in. I'll show you guys something interesting in a minute. See, right where I'm wheeling this area here, it's coming up quite nicely. But if we look here, where the drastic change in direction happens, we still have quite a dish. So we have to really work this area here and bring that up. Just stretch that up. I don't know if you guys can see it on the right side of the wheel, on your right side, but just by wheeling that up, that has grown up. The material has come up there. Okay. Give my grippers a bit of a break, switch direction, switch anvils, and work this area through here with a sharper anvil now. Now, we have quite a bit of stretching to do right through this curvature right here. And as we stretch it, you're going to see this area dish down again. Now, I'm just wheeling within that 2-inch wheeling zone up and through the top here. You don't want to go out and roll the outside edge because you're going to stretch it all out and defeat the whole point of getting this panel to curve around. We'll switch over to the flat anvil in a bit and work all that out again. Right now, you want to increase the stretch along the arc of the radius. I'm trying to get as close to the end as possible without jumping off, because we need to stretch all the way out. Now, I did leave a bit of excess material. We can cut that away, which will also help us. So you can see our curvature of our fender is really coming around nice. It's starting to roll over, but we're also having an issue where this is diving down. So I'm going to switch anvils again. We're going to start blending and pulling this area outward. So as you can see, we're slowly working that out. It's coming out quite nicely, except for here. We have to wheel this more. It's all about mileage, guys. The more you wheel, the better you get at it, as with anything. I think this English wheel's got about 34,721 kilometers on it. Funny. We'll walk back over to this area here and bring that up a little bit more. We're sitting really well through here. It's still a bit low there. So you can hear those ribs from the high crown anvil, but we'll work that out and you won't see or feel them after we're done. There you go. You can see that huge concave area we had is just about gone. There's a teeny bit right through here. That's sitting quite well. Let's throw this up on the car and see how it looks. Wow, look at that. We got a long way to go. Back to the high crown anvil, and we're working the middle section now. Now, even though it looks nice and smooth and the curve looks good, but we need to have this material through this area here come up to allow those ends to come down. You can't stretch too fast and too hard, otherwise you're going to create ripples and waves throughout your panel. That's why I'm keeping the curves, passes here consistent and uniform. Now you can see we have a buckle happening here because I stretched this material up and this has no place to go, so it's starting to buckle. So by us wheeling the top surface, that 2-inch wheeling zone, that's going to allow that to settle down. Afterwards, we'll take and do some slight shrinking through here. So if you have a nice smooth surface with minimal ribbing or tracking marks, it actually flows through the wheel quite easily. If you have to fight with it to roll it through, you're pushing too hard. You don't need to have a death grip on your panel. Just as long as it doesn't slip through your fingers, you're good to go. So you can hear that oil can. We're chasing that concavity. Well, it's looking really nice at this point. Things are smoothed out considerably in terms of the levels. Now, we still have a concavity through here because we grew so much in this area, so we're going to have to take and start blending down a little bit further. But you don't want to overwheel this lower area. You just want to just blend it in and watch it as it comes up. I don't know if I talk too much or too little, guys. Let me know in the comments if you want to hear more commentary as we're wheeling. And we've got some rippling happening along the edge, which means that we're almost at a stage where we can create some tucks and bring that material into itself. That was a close one. See, the panel just kind of wanted to roll on through, and as I grabbed it, it kind of sucked my finger in between the anvils, but didn't pinch, so that's a good thing. Blending all the way to the top edge there without getting near the top edge. After this pass, we'll go fit this on the buck and see how it looks. You always want to reference the buck because you can eyeball it. A lot of times it's close, but the buck will tell you a completely different story if you're off. It'll tell you exactly where to go. Okay, let's see how this looks. Now, it's coming in quite nicely through here, but the material that's down here is not allowing the top of the fender to settle in where it needs to, which means that this area through here does have to come out a little bit more. As I'm moving forward, I'm also seeing what's happening after it's come out of the wheel, and if I see something that's a bit off, like a small concavity, then just back up and touch it up and then keep moving forward. It's feeling really nice right now. Yeah, it's coming along very well. I'm gonna come up into this area here. I saw a few things I want to touch up. Then we'll close the panel and put it up on the car, see how it looks on the buck. All right, let's close the panel just a bit here. Now I'm noticing we do have a bit of a dish in this area, so that's going to have to be addressed because that's probably going to keep us out by resting on this rod here. But let's see how it looks. This will have to come down as well because it's too open. Might flutter around a little bit. But there you go. So it's getting close. Now the other thing you'll notice is these waves through here. We have to take and start shrinking that down. Well, the shirt came off, guys, and we're in the home stretch here. I did some tuck shrinking along the top there. Brought that in, and we'll probably have to do it one more time. But I just want to work out this top radius here, smooth things out a little bit. We're going to go test it on the car, see how it looks, and see if we've gained anything by shrinking the top edge. Okay, just doing some final blending here. Considering that was all banged up over there, it smoothed out quite well. I'm going to close things up a little bit here. Okay, let's try it. Tuck that into there. I kind of swing it up on top, but that doesn't look too bad right there. Let's get a couple clamps on this. Springing out a little bit. So we are going to take and create a series of tucks along here, shrink that down again, as well as this corner, bring that in and work it back out again, smooth it out, and try it again. So you see a little bump right here. I'm going to close the end. Now it's trapped, can't get away. Then we pound the center down with one nice blow. Done. And that's shrunk. Okay, let's smooth that out and go fit it on the buck again. Now the biggest thing is just to not go at this too quickly. See that? Slowly working our way towards the edge. I don't want to jump off like I just did, but there we go. And now we work on smoothing all this out. Like I said, I've done this once already. That's why the shirt came off. We'll go lengthways in a moment. Just smooth this out just a bit. You see all this textured area? That's material that's being shrunk into itself. And we've actually got a curve happening this way now. So let's level it out. And blend it and try it again. I'm bending it over the lower anvil as well. So I'm doing 3 things here. It's a full-on upper shoulder workout here. Okay, let's try this again. That's sitting a lot more comfortably. Almost on the rod there. I'm going to take and cut off 1/2 inch off the bottom of this because I did add material to the template and allow things to kind of settle down. Once everything's final wheeled, blended, and shaped correctly, this is going to sit up all by itself. So you've got that twist to it, I'm going to have to take care of that. But in terms of sitting where we need to on the buck, we are just about there. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is take and raise this area up. That'll allow that to come down. I do have to do a little bit of blending up there. Let me change anvils for a second. Still maintaining that primary wheeling zone that we established way back when we started this panel. We're going to take our time, just pull things into alignment here. Twisting the panel just a bit here and wheeling it at the same time because we did have a bit of a twist earlier there that wasn't allowing it to sit down properly. Just checking the reflections as I'm going along to see if I need to back up it. So far, so good. The panel's starting to sing right now. There's a nice ring to it. Just want to clean up the edge a little bit here. Small flat spot here. Take care of that. That's it. And there we are. We are right dead on where we need to be. Clamp it there. Clamp that there. Like that's the rod, you can hear it right there. Yeah, that's feeling good. There's a little bit of a flat spot there. That rolls right down, nice. Tiny flat spot there. I'm just comparing it to the buck. I'd never be able to get the camera in there, but we're resting on the buck right there. So this has to come up just a bit more. Let's get a clamp on this. Ta-da! Yeah. So I'm thinking we will have to shrink this section right through here one more time. I've done the whole length twice, but we're going to refocus our efforts just in here, allowing that to come down. Making contact all the way along here. We're going to trim away a lot of this. This is actually 1.25 inches here. We don't need all that material. We'll cut away a bit, probably half of that, and roll the rest underneath. We're sitting on the buck there. And that's it for this rear section, guys, at least for now. There's a little bit more smoothing we need to do, like I mentioned, but we're going to do that afterwards. I want to get this panel that sits in here in place and start scribing and trimming away some of this material that's actually sliding in behind. And that's going to help change things a little bit as well. But look at those reflections. They are just stunning. Okay, guys, let's go on to the front panel and start that one up.